The kingdom of Amarta is at peace, and the royal family is preparing for a journey. Arjuna's wife, Dewi Ulupi, is 7 months pregnant. It is time for her ceremony, a traditional Javanese bathing ceremony meant to bless the mother and ensure a safe delivery at the secluded Yasarata hermitage. King Nilawarna wakes from a dream and makes a disastrous decision. He has become obsessed with a vision of Ulupi. Despite advisors warning him she is heavily pregnant and married to a deadly warrior, Nilawarna dispatches a strike force to kidnap her. 2 distinct groups march toward the exact same coordinates, the royal family with blessings, and an armed battalion with malicious intent. Then a third path emerges, Raden Antareja, a hot-headed fighter rejected for military service, wandering blindly toward Yasarata seeking a spiritual mentor. This setup is a classic engine of traditional Wayang storytelling. The audience is given a god's eye view of the board. We can see these 3 entirely separate motivations, a family ritual, a royal delusion, and a teenager's wounded pride, all accelerating towards an unavoidable collision long before the characters realize they share the same map. The collision begins on the road. Nilawarna's kidnapping squad accidentally runs headfirst into the Amarta royal guards. The fight is brief and completely one-sided. The kidnappers are decimated, but in the confusion, the cunning minister Kalabandoga manages to slip past the front line and continues to the hermitage alone. Operating under the cover of night, Kalabandoga deploys the Aji Sidep, a powerful sleeping spell that instantly knocks out everyone in the compound, including Arjuna. Bypassing the magical wards, he scoops up the unconscious Devi Ulupi, locks her inside a wooden chest, and flees into the dark. He doesn't make it far. Kalabandoga is intercepted in the woods, but not by the heroes. He bumps into Raden Burisrawa, a wandering rogue harboring a deep, bitter vendetta against Arjuna from a past humiliation. When Burisrawa learns what is inside the chest, he sees an opportunity to strike at Arjuna. He murders Kalabandoga on the spot and opens the box to find a terrified Ulupi. Instead of taking her back to his kingdom, Burisrawa begins to chase and torment her through the trees, explicitly intending to terrify her so severely that she loses her unborn child. Chaos in the Wayang universe compounds rapidly. A politically motivated kidnapping attempt is derailed, only to be instantly hijacked and transformed into a much darker, highly personal act of violent revenge. Fleeing blindly through the dense forest to escape Burisrawa, the pregnant Ulupi loses her footing. She slips over the edge of a steep ravine, plummeting toward the rocks below. She never hits the ground. At that exact second, a pair of arms snatches her out of the air. It's Antareja, the wandering, rejected youth who just happened to be passing the base of the cliff on his way to the hermitage. He carries her back up to safety, only to immediately face an enraged Arjuna, who has finally broken the sleeping spell and tracked them down. Seeing his nephew with his missing wife, Arjuna draws his weapon and accuses Antareja of the kidnapping. It takes Ulupi physically stepping between them to explain that the young man is actually her savior. But the extreme physical and emotional trauma takes its toll. Ulupi collapses in premature labor. With the mystical assistance of her father, a local hermit, she safely delivers a healthy baby boy right there in the forest, under the shade of a rawand tree. They name him Bambang Irawan. Antareja begins the night as an aimless outcast and ends it as the man who protected the family line when the king himself was asleep. By catching Ulupi at her lowest point, he has traded his resentment for a permanent seat at the Pandawa table. By the time the royal entourage arrives at the hermitage, the crisis has passed. The ceremony to bless the pregnancy seamlessly pivots into a triumphant celebration of a safe birth. The celebration is interrupted when King Nilawarna foolishly shows up in person, demanding his stolen bride. Arjuna steps out to meet him, and after a brief duel, the deluded king is permanently silenced by Arjuna's blade. The chaos clears, leaving lasting bonds. The local hermit formally accepts Antareja as his student. He ties the youth's hair into a traditional bun, a physical symbol of his newfound discipline. To completely seal his place in the family, Antareja is declared the sworn, protective older brother of the newborn Irawan. As the story concludes, the three separate paths have been pulled into a single point. This physical convergence mirrors the work of the Dalong, who must manage dozens of puppets at once, weaving their individual rods together until their separate stories become a single, coherent image on the screen. In Wayang, the accidental plunge of a woman and the wandering of an aimless youth are the mechanics of the plot. These collisions provide the friction needed to turn an angry outcast into a mentor and a disrupted ritual into a homecoming.